Have you ever noticed your pain seems to move? Maybe it started in your neck, now it's in your shoulder, or maybe your low back finally started feeling better, and then your hip starts to hurt. If that's happened to you, most people assume they're developing another injury, but many times that's not what's actually happening. In fact, your body may be giving you one of the biggest clues about what's really going on. I'm Dr. Bryant, founder of Better Posture and owner of Central Chiropractic here in O'Fallon, Missouri. One of the things I hear almost every day is my shoulder started hurting after my neck got better. My back finally calmed down, but now my hip is bothering me. People are often frustrated because they feel like every time they solve one problem, another one shows up. And after a while, they start wondering if they're just falling apart. But here's what I want you to understand. Pain doesn't always tell you where the problem started. Sometimes pain is simply telling you which part of your body has been working the hardest. I mean, you think about it. Think about driving a car with one tire that's out of alignment. At first, you barely notice it. The car still drives, everything feels pretty normal, but over time, the tires begin wearing unevenly. Then the suspension starts taking extra stress. Eventually, something else wears out. The problem didn't move, the effects spread. Your body works very much the same way. When one joint stops moving the way it's designed to move, other muscles and joints quietly begin doing extra work. At first, that's actually a good thing. Your body adapts. It finds another way to keep moving. You don't suddenly stop walking because one hip becomes stiff. You don't stop reaching overhead because one part of your upper back isn't moving well. Your brain simply says, that's fine, we'll just do it a different way. That's one of the amazing things about the human body. It's constantly adapting. But every adaptation comes with a cost. The muscles and joints doing the extra work weren't designed to do someone else's job forever. Eventually, they become overloaded. They become irritated. And then they start sending pain signals. That's why pain often seems to move around. The problem didn't necessarily move, the compensation did. This is where I think a lot of people actually get stuck. They naturally treat wherever the pain happens to be today. If the shoulder hurts, they massage the shoulder. If the hip hurts, well, they stretch the hip. If the knee hurts, they buy a knee brace. And sometimes those things do help. I'm not saying they never do, but if the pain keeps changing locations, it's worth asking a different question. Instead of asking, how do I get rid of today's pain? Ask, why is my body asking another area to work so hard? That's a completely different conversation. One of the first questions I ask someone isn't, where does it hurt today? It's what changed first, because that answer usually gives us much better information. I remember one patient who came into our office because of shoulder pain. He was convinced he had injured it lifting weights. He had already stopped doing certain exercises. He'd been stretching, using ice, trying to avoid movements that hurt, but after watching how he moved, something stood out. His upper back had become incredibly stiff. Every time he reached overhead, his shoulder was trying to make up for movement and his upper back wasn't providing. Imagine trying to open a door whose hinges are rusted out. You can force the handle harder, but eventually something else begins taking the stress. That's exactly what his shoulder had been doing. The shoulder wasn't weak, the shoulder wasn't broken, it was simply working overtime because another part of the system wasn't doing its job. Once we improved that movement through his upper back, his shoulder no longer had to compensate the same way. And suddenly, everything made more sense. This is one of the biggest mindset shifts I'd love for people to make. Instead of asking, where does it hurt? Start asking, what movement changed before this started? Did your neck become stiff? Did your posture change after working at a computer for several months? Did you stop exercising after an injury? Did one ankle never quite regain its mobility after you sprained it years ago? Your body leaves clues. The challenge is most of us have never been taught how to recognize them. Pain is often one of the last clues your body gives you. Long before pain shows up, your body has usually been compensating, moving differently, working harder, finding another way. Pain simply gets your attention. That's why I don't think pain is always the problem. Many times, pain is just information. It's your body's way of saying, hey, there's something in the system that's not working the way it used to. And that's actually encouraging because if we can identify why the compensation started, there's often a much better opportunity to improve how the body moves instead of simply chasing whatever hurts today. So the next time your pain seems to move from one place to another, don't immediately assume you're falling apart. Ask yourself, Is my body trying to tell me something? Because many times the problem didn't move, the effects spread. And understanding that one idea can completely change the way you think about pain. I'm Dr. Caleb Bryant. My goal is simple: to help you understand your body so you can move better, hurt less, and stay active for life. I'll see you in the next video.